Hey guys, it's Russell back, and on today's video we are going to be looking at Meguiars Deep Crystal Car Wash. This is probably one of Meguiars' least inexpensive car washes. I have used this car wash before, a long time ago, before I was in the know. It's billed as, like most of Meguiars' other car washes, that it will not strip wax. It's not a premium car wash, okay? I'm going to tell you that up front. The dilution ratios are like most of Meguiars' other products. They're 1 ounce per gallon of water. So in our test, we're going to be using the MTM submachine gun style foam gun. For our foam test, we'll be using 2 ounces of the Deep Crystal to 10 ounces of warm water. And then for our bucket portion in the hand wash test, we'll be using 3 ounces of the Meguiars in our bucket. I'm not going to spoil this. I'm gonna let you guys see what this does. I have not used this in a foam gun before. I have washed cars for many years with this car wash, and I'll let the results speak for themselves. I am interested to find out how it does in our submachine gun foamer. Now, earlier it started to sprinkle. I don't know whether I'll be able to get this shot today. I'm going to try to do it. I'm doing this later in the afternoon because the light's a little bit better. It's cloudy outside, so hopefully if the rain holds off, you'll get a really good view with the camera about the how the foam sits and stays on the car. So enough talking, let's go outside and get this test done. Alright, so I've got my solution here. I've got 10 ounces of warm water and 2 ounces of the Meguiars Deep Crystal, and let's see how it foams. Alright, something is just not right with this foam. I can't put my finger on it. It's got a very, very, very small foam structure. There are a few very medium foam cells that are intertwined in it, but as a general overall view, it looks like there's a layer of plastic dip on there. It's weird. The foam gun did not really like this soap. I've never seen it do this before. As far as slickness, almost no slickness whatsoever. In fact, it doesn't even feel like a foamy car soap. Very, very strange. Alright, well, I'm going to let this sit about 6 minutes. Hopefully, with the cloudiness, the foam will last. So I will see you guys back in just a few minutes. Okay, here we are back at the 6-minute mark. And you can see that probably 60% or more of the Meguiars has left the surface and has pretty much dried. Horizontal surfaces, not so bad. And keep in mind, this is without any direct sunlight. If you are doing this in direct sunlight, you will not have the foam cling quite as good as that. So let's get this rinsed off with a pressure washer and see if it, number one, removed any of our sealant protection, and number two, removed our non-bonding contaminants. Alright, so as we can see, the pre-wash that we did with our Meguiars did remove the non-bonded contaminants, and fortunately, as we suspect, it did not remove any of our wax or sealant protection. In this case, it's just sealant. There's no wax on here. Alright, so the next step we're going to do is we're going to get our hand bucket out. We're going to do a foam test and see what kind of foamage we get in the bucket itself, and then we will do a hand wash of this car and see how it performs by hand. Alright, so we're going to take our car soap. Just as a observation, it has almost no smell to it. It's a slightly viscous clear soap. I'm going to put 3 ounces in. As with most of our car soaps that we test that are I'm going to say value line, to be kind to them, they dissipate very quickly in the wash water. They don't tend to sit on the bottom until agitated, like you would find maybe from Adams or Chemical Guys. The water in the wash bucket does have a very, very slight lubricity to it. It's less than I would have thought it would have been, but we're going to need to agitate this with the pressure washer and then see what kind of lubricity we get. took a little bit more agitation than it normally takes for a car soap. The bubbles do seem to be very stable, kind of as we saw on the car with the MTM foam cannon. The structure is very small, it's very tight, very dense. There are a few medium bubbles in here. And I'm still feeling the same slickness that I felt earlier, which is a good thing. Not as much as, say, in the Meguiars Gold class, but there is some lubricity there. And the bubbles seem to be fairly stable. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to hand wash the car. I'm going to use multiple wash mitts. People ask me, why do I do that? And I have to explain it on every video. It's because we never want to take a dirty wash mitt that we've already used to wash the car and put it back into the clean soap water. Even if you're using the 2-bucket method, you cannot get all the dirt out by just rinsing it in the water, scrubbing it against the grit guard. You just can't do it. People ask me, how do I clean them? After I use them, after we're done with the car wash, then I throw them in the washing machine, and that gets all of the dirt out. That's the only way you can do it. This water will stay clean, perfectly clean, just as clean as it is now, at the end of our wash, so that we do not introduce scratches onto our paint. Okay, enough yapping. Let's wash this car by hand. Okay guys, it is getting ready to start sprinkling. I dried the car off as fast as I could. So what are my thoughts on the Meguiars Deep Crystal? I'm going to say that this car soap is, well, middle of the road, maybe a little less than middle of the road. It doesn't do foaming very well. It did remove the non-bonding contaminants. It has a slight bit of lubricity, but as you probably saw while I was washing with the mitt, there was almost no sudsing action at all. So very, very minimal car wash. I can see why this car wash is very inexpensive. I think if you were going to use this in a foam gun, you may want to use maybe 4 ounces or 5 ounces instead of the 2. You may get an adequate amount of foam. I would also at least double the amount of product that we used in the bucket if you were going to use it as a hand wash. It's not a terrible car wash, but it's, you know, like I said, I've used it before for many years, before I was in the know about this, you know, car detailing and stuff, and I just used whatever was cheap. So I'm going to say this is barely, it barely makes the middle of the road. Doesn't do anything great. But, you know, in all fairness, it did get the car clean. The car wasn't super dirty, but not super impressed. There's a lot better car washes out there to use. So I'm going to wrap this video up because it is, you can see it's starting to sprinkle, getting ready to have a thunderstorm, and I will see you guys next week on the next video.